Shrutismriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpada Shankaram Loka Shankaram.
Apara Karuna Sindhum Jnanadam Shanta Rupinam Sri Chandrasekhara Gurum Pranamami Mudan Vaham.
Gurun Namna Mahimna Cha Shankaro Yo Virajate Tadiyandri Galadrenu Kanayastu Namo Namaha.
Shuklam Varadaram Vishnum Shashivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasannavaganam Vyayet Sarvavighnopashantaye Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha Gurur Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Gurave Sarvalokanam Vishaje Bhavaroginam Nithaye Sarvavidyanam Shri Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Shruti Smriti Purana Namalayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpada Shankaram Loka Shankaram Apara Karuna Sindhunyānadam Shantarupinam Shri Chandrasekhara Gurum Pranamami Mudanvaham Parityajyamonam Vatadastitincha Vrajan Bharatasya Pradeshat Pradesham Madhusindi Vacha Janan Dharma Marge Nayan Shri Jayendro Guru Bhati Chitte Namama Shankaran Vakya Vijayendra Saraswati Namama Shankaran Vakya Vijayendra Saraswati Shri Gurum Sishtamar Garunetaram Sammati Pradam Sadguru Charanarvindabhyam Namaha Shri Guru Pyo Namaha Hari Om. So today, even today, we are going to see some of my experiences in Periyavas darshan in Peruru. So last week I have shared some of my experiences. This week is going to be in continuation of those experiences because I was fortunate enough. Periyava had so much karuna that he asked me to stay for about 6 days. So 6 days I was with Periyava all the time. So in the camp all the time. So we have lots of experiences. I will share a couple of experiences today because some of them I can share in public, some of them I cannot. But I will share whatever I can, whatever Periyava makes me remember. I will share those experiences. Our Kanchi Kamakoti Peetham is very orthodox, that everybody knows. And it is also very, very famous for being very simple life, leading a very simple, not pompous. All the Acharyas, right from Bhagavatpada Acharya up to our Periyava, everybody leads a very simple, very easy to approach kind of life, because that is how a sannyasi should live. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, even for normal person, he says, Matras Parishastu Kaunteya Sitoshna Sukha Dukkada Agama Paginaha Anityaha Tantitikshasva Bharata. You have to see Tulyaninda Stutivimauni. You have to Tulyaninda Stutihi. You have to see both pleasure and pain as equal. Have equanimity in your life. Nirdvandvo bhavarjuna. Don't fall into the world of duality. Lead a very simple life. You know, we have listened stories of Periyava sleeping among mosquito bites. I did Upasanam today for 10 minutes. I couldn't bear mosquito biting me. The moment you start the homam, all the mosquito will go away. But till that time for evening, it was very hard for me. I was like, scratching my legs here and there. I couldn't even stand for 10 minutes. But we have listened to the stories of Mahaperiyava sleeping among the bedbugs. And bedbugs were biting Mahaperiyava. He didn't do anything because he had taken up the vratham of Abhaya. When sannyasis take up this sannyasa ashramam, they promise to all the living beings that they give abhayam for all the living beings. There won't be any harm to any living beings in their presence because of that. That is the vratam that they take. And Krishna says you have to see Sukham and Dukkham as sama. So because of that, we have seen Mahaperiyava doing that. Mahaperiyava went everywhere by his foot. When Jayendra Periyava went along with Mahaperiyava 3 times, not once, not twice, but 3 times Jayendra Periyava encircled Bharatam by his foot. Only later, because of our wishes, they started using vehicles because people wanted to have his darshan. They don't want us to be disappointed. Just like how Bhagavan, when he takes up avatara, what is avataram? Avatarati. He is falling down. He is falling down from his stature. It is called as avatara. Normally, people think avatara as coming down. As if Bhagavan is staying somewhere above in the skies. And Bhagavan is coming down to the human world. That is why people think it is avatara. That is not the real meaning of avatara. Bhagavan is sarvavyapi. How can we say he is only present in skies? He is not present in this world right now. The real meaning of avatara is that he is falling in his stature. As Nirguna Brahman, he is enjoying everything, but he அவர் தன்னையே குறுக்கிக்கிறார். தன்னை குறுக்கிண்டு தன்னை குறைச்சிண்டு இருக்கிறதுனாலதான் அதுக்கு பேர் அவதாரம்னு பேர். இந்த மாதிரி இவா நமக்காக எல்லாம் பண்ணிட்டு இருக்காங்க இல்லையா, மனசுக்குள்ள எதுக்கும் பற்று இல்லாமல் இருக்கணும் அப்படின்னு கிருஷ்ணர் கீதையில சொல்றாரு இல்லையா, அந்த மாதிரி இருக்கா. Because when we were in this camp, in Peruru camp, there was a temple nearby. And in the temple, they were doing some Rudra Homam, etc. They were doing some Homam. They have invited Periyava for doing, for Purnahuti. And Periyava said, yes, I will come to this temple and I will bless the gatherings over there. The temple was a couple of streets far from where the campsite is. And the mud people, they all have made all the vehicles ready for Periyava to go, because they don't want Periyava to walk. They had all the convoys of Periyava, everything was ready. The police protection, the police people were ready. And Periyava came out and he asked his, the Madathisippan Dimba, the mud people, how far is the temple? They said, okay, the temple is 2 or 3 streets across. Immediately Periyava said, hey, it is 2 or 3 streets across, why should we go by car? Because Periyava goes by 1 car, there are going to be 5 or 6 cars which is going to follow him. Why unnecessarily wasting of resources? Why? Let us walk. So we all had that fortune that day of walking along with Periyava. It is not very near, it is not very far as well. It is in the Rendungatamba, Tamil Nadu, Madhurodu Duram. But Periyava walked. Because Periyava walked, everybody walked along with Periyava, chanting Hara Hara Shankara, Jaya Jaya Shankara, Hara Hara Shankara, Jaya Jaya Shankara. And you have to go past a very narrow lane. The road was not good. In that narrow Tamil Sandhumba, the road was not good. Apparently, yesterday or the day before that day, couple of days ago, there was a rain. So water loggings were also there. And Periyava was wearing his paduka. Periyava, he comes out, he he wore his paduka and he started walking. And this narrow lane was there and it was waterlogged. ஒரே சேரும் சகதியுமா இருந்தது. Lot of clay. People cannot walk very nicely, even with slippers. And Periyava's paduka is not like our slippers, because our slippers is very, very convenient for us. Periyava's paduka, I don't know how they are wearing that and walking. If you have ever seen that, it is made up of wood. And it is not very convenient to walk, believe me. And Periyava was wearing that paduka and he was walking on that street because the road was not paved properly on that street. And there were water logging as well. It was very inconvenient. It was very difficult to move around with the paduka because the paduka does not have any straps and all. I was thinking, how can Periyava walk in this place? He's going to fall because it was so slippery and he was wearing his paduka. And this, I don't know, if I were in that position, I would probably say, okay, let us go back, take car and go in the car. But it is Periyava, right? If he says that, he won't say that. So he didn't even think for a moment. He took 2 or 3 steps. And it was very slippery, very up and down. So even without thinking, he just left his paduka there and started walking barefoot. And everybody was so surprised. And because it was all not pre-planned, right? Everybody was surprised. And the Sishyas, they started taking the paduka and preserving it. And Periyava was walking barefoot in that waterlogged street. And you have to like walk zigzag to avoid water. And in some places you just cannot avoid water, so you just have to step on the water. Periyava stepped on that water and walked. And after that, I witnessed a very beautiful sight. It was as though the road itself is doing Pada Puja to Periyava. It was a sight to behold. Normally, when we do Pada Puja, you would do Abhishekam to Periyava's Padam. Normally, that is how people do Pada Puja to anybody. But I have never seen any person, any Grihastha doing direct Pada Puja to Periyava. Maybe it happens or not, I don't know. I have never seen. இந்த கல்யாணத்துல பாத பூஜைன்னு பெரியவா ஆத்து பெரியவாரோட பாதத்துல தண்ணியை ஊத்தி சந்தனம் குங்குமம் வச்சு அர்ச்சனை எல்லாம் பண்ணி எல்லாம் பண்ணுவோம் மாப்பிள்ளைக்கு. அந்த மாதிரி I have never seen anybody doing that type of pada puja to Periyava, because Periyava's padam nobody can even touch. But it so happened that the street was waterlogged and Periyava walked through the water. So the street itself is doing Abhishekam to Periyava's padam. Periyava, remember, Periyava even removed his paduka. So he is walking barefoot, he stepped on the water. So the water purified, or you cannot say purified his feet, but water touched his feet and Abhishekam happened to his feet. And then there were 2 trees nearby. I think that it was Maramalli and the tree Nanakan. I don't remember. There was lots of flower on the street. And it was like a flower carpet. Normally, we would have decorated the street, decorated the path with flowers, so that they don't step onto something, so that they walk on the flower. Right? In the same way, nobody planned this. But after Periyava stepped out of that, that one street, one stretch in the street was very watery. And once you get past that stretch, it was a beautiful sight because there were trees on both sides of the streets. and nice white color flower, I think. The flower were distributed all around the street. So Periva, he stepped on the flowers and then he walked. To me, it occurred like, okay, Bhuma Devi herself, the Peruru Kshetram, the village itself, has done Abhishekam to Periva's Padams. And after Abhishekam, what do? You do Archana, right? After Abhishekam, you do Archana. So Archana happened with that flowers. Periva stepped on that flowers. It was like a nice flower carpet on the road. And Periva, he went past that flowery patch to the temple later. And that was a beautiful sight to behold. You just have to be there to enjoy, that type of scenery, because it was completely unplanned. People were thinking Periva was going to take his vehicle. Periva did Uttaravu for me, he also come along. So I was also speaking to the mud people, okay, which vehicle should I come? And he said, okay, any vehicle. So we were planning to go by vehicle. And suddenly Periva said, okay, I'm not going to go by vehicle, I want to walk. And Periva walked, both Abhishekam and Archana happened to his feet. It was a very beautiful divine sight to behold. And after that, Periva went into the temple. It was a Krishna temple, I think Madana Gopala Swami temple. And we all were very fortunate to see Periyava and Krishna together in the Sankam Saktoram. We did Namaskaram near the Kodimaram, and Periyava did Pradakshinam, and he came to the Yagashala where the Rudra Homam was happening. And Periyava blessed the Rudra Homam. We all witnessed Purnahuti. And after we witnessed Purnahuti, we all came back again to the mutt. So that day, Periva also had some other plans, some other temple visits. People were requesting Periva to go there. But we didn't go that day. Periva went to those temples at a later date. So Periva came back. I think he also did the third Kala Puja there after. So that was a very nice experience I had, walking along with Periva, chanting Jaya Shankara, Hara Shankara for about 10-15 minutes. Remember, everybody was chanting Jaya Shankara, Hara Shankara, Hara Shankara, Jaya Shankara. Periva was walking in front. Everybody was walking, following Periva. And the nature itself was doing Pada Puja and Archana to Periva was extremely wonderful thing to look at. And it shows the simplicity of our Periyavas. All the Periyavas, from Adi Shankara to Maha Periyava to Jayendra Periyava to Bala Periyava, they never expected anything in return. They never said, okay, I will only come if this was there, I will come only if that was there. That was never the case. I had the fortune of going to the place where Periva stayed previously. When I went, he was staying in Peruru. But Periva stayed in somebody else's house in his previous camp for about 14 plus 14 days, at 28 days, about 28 days or 14 days. Periva stayed in one house. And Periva asked that host to accompany me. He wanted the host to show me around those places, because those places Mahaviriva had visited, I think in 1937 or 29. I don't remember the exact year. But Mahaviriva visited all those places in 1920s, 30s. And Periva has asked me to visit those places and do Namaskaram and all. So the previous host of Periva, in whose house Periva stayed, was very kind enough to accompany me, and he showed me all the places where Mahaperiva was there, where Periva also had stayed. and it was a, it was very old house. Meaning it was very old traditional house. It was not a modern house. And he just showed a place and he said, okay, this is where Periyava slept. I was so surprised because it, no fan, no AC, nothing. In that house, in those old traditional houses, you cannot, even if you want to do, you cannot make anything because it's not even made of cement. In old traditional houses, it is made up of bricks and lime, and they put some herbs. So those houses were there, and he just casually showed a place, and he said, "Look, this is where Periyava slept on all this thing." So our Periyavas are always the embodiment of simplicity, and whatever Krishna said in Gita, it's all theory, right? If you want to see it practically, then one should be in Periyava's camp and look at that practically. Even when he was doing Chandramoulishwara Puja, there is no fan, no AC, not even lights, no electricity allowed when Periyava was doing Chandramoulishwara Puja. And remember, he spends more than 6 to 8 hours a day in puja, in public puja. About 6 hours he spends a day. Periyava spends about 6 hours a day in doing public puja while sitting in front of. After that, before that, he has his own anushtans that is there. But he spends that much time in the Chandramoulishwara Sannidhi. And in the Chandramoulishwara Sannidhi, no fan is allowed, no air conditioning, not even electric lights. It's only lamp, oil lamps, only that lamp is allowed. And if it is winter, it is fine. But if it is summer, remember how hot it gets. And with the lamp lights, the lamp also makes and produces lots of heat, because you just cannot have one small lamp. The lamp has to be bright enough so that people are waiting, right, to see Periyava's puja. So the lamp has to be brightly lit, and it generates a lot of heat. And it's amazing how Periyava sits in that place with no air circulation at all, because there are lamps. If there is air circulation, the light will go off in the lamp. We are all sitting outside. Already the place where we sit, there is already plenty of air, because it is not an enclosed space. It is an open space where we were sitting. But the place where Periyava was doing puja, it is an enclosed space. So already that place is like a dungeon. And we were all sitting in a relatively better space, but we were all sweating. We needed fan. We were looking, okay, when is the puja going to be over? Okay, taking a book and fanning ourselves. But Periyava didn't even bother about all these things. The moment he starts doing puja, remember, for him, there is nothing that needs to be achieved by doing puja. Nanavaptam avaptam, like Krishna says in Gita, hey Arjuna, there is nothing in this world that I need to achieve by doing any puja or by doing any karma. I have already got whatever I need to be getting, whatever I want, I have already got. But I still do karma. Why? Lokasangrahamevapi. I do karma because it is good for you guys. That is why I have to do everything. In the same way, for us, it is avatara only. For us, they are lowering their statures and moving amongst us. Why? Because it is good for us. Shastra says, Atmagyam hi archayet bhuti kamat, says Upanishad. Even if you want the money, do seva to a sannyas. Atmagyam hi archayet bhuti kamat. So, for our benefit, they are lowering their statuses, just like an avatar. There is no fan, no light. Still, he spent that many time in doing Chandramollishwara Puja. Well, there will be mosquitoes, there will be everything. No fan, nothing. You cannot, it's all very interior, remote villages. Everything will be there. But without even changing his legs, without even taking a break, if Periyava does that puja, we all have to be eternally thankful for him. Thanks should be our only sentiment towards Periyava. We cannot expect anything out of him. We just have to say Nandri, 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 but thank you. That's the only thing we are eligible to do. We are eligible to only do namaskara without expecting anything in return. Because that's how they live for us. And I had another experiences like this. But before going through the experiences, I thought I'll just share some of the common occurrences in Matham. And if somebody goes to Periyava for darshan, I sincerely wish everybody should go and have Periyava's darshan. Please don't go like one day, half a day and all. Plan, pre-plan, spend about a week or 4 or 5 days in Periyava's Sannidhi. Witnessing Chandramollishwara Puja. It is going to be a once in lifetime opportunity for everybody, and I'm pretty sure it is going to be a turning point in everybody's life. So when somebody is going for Periyava's darshan, there are some things that we can try to follow because it is going to be beneficial for us. So one thing that nobody should miss is Vishwarupa darshanam. So especially women, ladies, if you go according to the traditional dress, like, wear madisa, whatever your traditional clothing is. And when we go for Vishwarupa darshanam, have a plate and have a harati in your hand, because Periyava waits. And even if there is a lady who is standing very, very far behind us, along with the harati in their hand, Periyava calls them to the front, and he just stands there so that all the Sumangalis can do harati for Periyava. That is the closest audience that you could that anybody could ever get to Periyava. So please prepare, be prepared to go for Vishwarupa darshanam early in the morning. So that is one thing that's never to be missed. And another thing that is never to be missed is in the evening, in the Shri Matham, they do Deepa Namaskar. They would ask two Sumangalis to light the lamp. And they keep Adi Shankara's Paduka in front. And they chant Ramanama, they chant Hara Hara, they chant 2 shlokas from Patanjali Krita Nataraja Stotram, Sadanchita Mudanchita Nikunchita Padam. Abdin varum on the shlokam aarambikkum. They will chant in a very beautiful tone, along with an accompaniment. And people do namaskaram to the Deepa. You are not only doing namaskaram to the Deepa, but you are also doing namaskaram to Adi Shankaracharya Paduka. They chant Swasti Vachanam. And they offer Pushpanjali to Adi Shankaracharya's Paduka. And they light the lamp, they do namaskaram, and then they chant, all these shlokas, and then they do namaskarams after that. It is again the closest that we could ever get to the Adi Shankaracharya's Paduka. So that is something we should never miss. People normally miss that. At least Vishwarupa darshanam, people know. It is fairly common, and everybody will try to be there for most of the people will try to be there for Vishwarupa darshanam. But this Deepa Namaskaram is something which should never be missed, because Ambal herself is present. It will happen in Chandramollishwara Sannidhi. Right in front of Chandramollishwara, they will lamp this Kuttuvalakku. they will keep Adi Shankara's Paduka. It is 2500 years old Paduka, which was owned by Adi Shankaracharya himself. And the Paduka is still there in our Matham. That itself is a great thing. Because Adi Shankaracharya, he established many Mathams. Of those, 5 Mathams are called as Amnaya Mathams. Dakshinamnaya, Purvamnaya, Paschimamnaya, Uttaramnaya. 4 Amnaya Mathams for 4 directions. And then he established a Matham for himself. Because Adi Shankaracharya had 4 Sishyas. And he gave one Matham to one Sishya. And he established a Matham for himself in Kanchipuram. That is why our Matham is called as Moolamnaya Matham. Moola Amnaya Matham. So, in the same way, if you go through Shankara Vijaya Charitrams, Adi Shankaracharya has established 5 Mathams in Kasi himself, in Kasi itself, 4 Mathams for 4 of the Sishyas, and 1 Matham for himself. And there are 5 Mathams in Kerala. Naduve Madam, Terke Madam, Badake Madam. I don't think all the 5 Mathams are there. In Kashi, I don't know if any Matham is still there. At least in Kerala, I don't know if all the 5 are there, but some are there. But apart from all those things, the Amnaya Mathams are, all the 4 Mathams in the 4 directions. And the Moolamnaya Matham, he established in Kanchipuram himself. Why? Because Kanchipuram is the Nabhisthanam of the entire world. Because normally people ask, okay, if it has to be center, it has to be present somewhere in central India. Why should Acharya establish a Matham in Kanchi? Because it is the center, it is the Nabhisthanam for the entire world. That is why it itself is called as Kanchi. Kanchi 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 Dama Karikalabha Kumbasthanata Parikshina Madhye Parinata Sharachandra Vadana Abdina Acharya Soldra Soundarilla. So the Kanchi, the Nabhisthanam, the center of the entire universe is Kanchi. That is why Acharya established Moolamnaya Matham in Kanchi. Pang Tamba Idagum Sarvam Pang Tena Iva Pang Tadghas Pranoti, says Taittiriya Upanishad. Pang Tamba Idagum Sarvam. That is why Acharya established 5 Mathas. 5 Bhutas are there, 5 Mathas. Because Vedas themselves says Pang Tamba Idam Sarvam. Everything in this world can be divided into 5 groups of 5, says Vedas. And Acharya, ardent follower of Vaidika Dharma, established 5 Mathams according to the Shruti. So, the Kanchi Kamakoti Peetham is Moolamnaya Peetham. Acharya himself was present in this Peetham, ruled over the Peetham. That is why we had this fortune. And Acharya also attained Videha Mukti in Kanchipuram, in Kamakshi. If you go to Kamakshi Amman temple, there is a Shankaracharya Sannidhi, where Acharya has ascended to Jivan Mukti there, Videha Mukti there. So, it is very normal for Acharya's Paduka to be present in Kanchipuram. And because of our much pristine tradition, the Paduka is still preserved there. And it would be a great opportunity if one could go to the Matham in the evening, in Periyava's camp in the evening, and offer Deepa Namaskaras there. So that is something which should never be missed. Another thing is that people can do Archana to Adi Shankara's Paduka. This is something which you can never see in anywhere else. If you are in proper Swarupam, of course, not everybody can do. You have to be in Swarupam. You have to have Shikha. You have to go with Panchakacham and all. But if you go in proper Swarupam, you yourself, they do Sahasranama Archana, they do Trishati Archana, they do Ashtotara Archana for Adi Shankara's Paduka. you can ask for, you can book for that seva. And if you are in proper Swarupam, you yourself can do Archana to Acharyas Paduka. That is something which we should never miss, because Mahaperiyava says, whatever puja that we could do to Acharya, we should do. Shambho Murtihi Charati Bhuvane Shankaracharya Rupam, says Shloka, right? So it is Swayam Parameshwara himself walks in this universe, walks in this world as Shankaracharya, and Adi Shankaracharya's Bhagavad Avatara, Shankara Avatara himself, right? So that is something which should never be missed. If we go, then try to do this seva, this either Ashtotaram or Trishati or Sahasranam. If you go in Swarupam, then you yourself can do with your own hands. And for me, it was a very pleasant experience as well. Why? Because I was not planning to do that. For some reason or the other, it did not occur to me, okay, that I will pay for that seva and go sit and do the puja myself. It did not occur to me at all. But what happened was, one of the students, I think my Shivananda Lahiri class from US, she came to Periyava's camp that day. And she was alone. And unfortunately, she had to go somewhere else while, she was paid for the seva, but she could not do puja herself. So she came and asked me, hey, can you do this puja for me and give me prasada? I said, okay, it's my pleasure, right? And we all sat there, and the Vadyar, he was doing Sankalpa. Then I realized that it was a Shukla Panchami. Shukla Panchami is the Acharyal's Avatara Tithi. Vaishakha Shukla Panchami is the Avatara Tithi for Acharya. And in Dharma Moolam, we have been doing Acharya's puja on every Shukla Panchami. We do Shukla Panchami puja. We chant Adi Shankaracharya shloka. We make kids, we teach shloka to the kids as well as adults. And we, every Shukla Panchami or in and around the Shukla Panchami, if Shukla Panchami comes on a weekday, then at least on a weekend, we make sure that we do Adi Shankaracharya's pujas for Shukla Panchami. And for one such Shukla Panchami, Periyava himself came through Zoom. And we all offered. Periyava gave Anugrah Bhashanam. He was actually there when I was doing Archana when I was chanting Adi Shankaracharya's Archana Namavali. Periyava joined Zoom and he was listening to the Archana, which I did not know at that time. After we finished it, people said that Periyava was there and he was listening to the Archana and all. So it was a pleasant surprise for me that the same Shukla Panchami day, where we have been doing Shukla Panchami for about 2 years now, I think, 2 years or 1.5 years, I could do Pada Puja for Adi Shankaracharya's Paduka. And it was not only that, it was also Bala Periyava's Janma Nakshatra. Not as actual birthday, not the same month, but Nakshatra. So both Shukla Panchami and Bala Periyava's Nakshatram came on that day, and just by hook and crook, by coincidence, that I was there and I had to do puja. I was given an opportunity. Now, I should not say I had to do puja. I was given an opportunity to do the puja. So it was so much blessings for me. I think for the entire Dharma Moolam, because we have been doing Shukla Panchami puja every month. And this is a sign that Periyava says, hey, okay, acknowledge that the puja that you are doing. So that is something that everybody should do. At least try to do Acharyas Paduka puja. And you can also do Bhiksha Vandanam for Periyava. Periyava's Bhiksha Vandanam, especially Chaturmasyam time. if we could do Chaturmasyathla, Yetihalukku Vikshavandanam பண்றது ரொம்ப விசேஷம். And the proper way for us to do Vikshavandanam is first you have to get Uttaravu from Periyava for doing Vikshavandanam. You just cannot go there and then, okay, I have money, I will pay money and then I will do Vikshavandanam. That's not the proper way to do. You have to ask Periyava's Uttaravu, Periyava, can I do Vikshavandanam for you today or tomorrow? Most of the time Periyava will say yes. Some other times Periyava will say, okay, don't do it today, do tomorrow, or sometime else. No, he has his own reasons. And then if we do Vikshavandanam, partaking Chandramauleshwara Prasadam, that itself is a great opportunity. So that is something that everybody should try to do when you are visiting Srimatham. And another thing, I'm just speaking from my personal capacity. As I said before, I'm not an official representative of Mathams or anything. I'm just speaking on my experiences and my personal capacity. People normally think, okay, I have to go look Periyava, have Periyava darshan as soon as possible. Periyava should speak to me. We normally don't like to stand in queue, and I don't think that's the right thing to do, because this is how I normally think. If I stand very, very far ahead in queue, far away in queue, then I will have more time for Periyava darshan. I can look at Periyava's face. I can meditate upon Periyava for so much long time. But if I'm standing right in front of the queue, Periyava will speak to you and then you have to move. Somebody else has to come. And once you move, you cannot just stay there. You have to go somewhere else. So you cannot see Periyava at that time. So for me, my personal experience, my personal opinion was stand as far back as possible. And stand in queue, that is fine. No, but you can have Periyava's darshan all the time, because if everybody stands in a queue, Periyava is visible from the back of the queue itself. And Periyava makes time for each and every devotee. Even if he does not have any time, he will come out, he will see all the devotee, only then he will go for Chandramauleshwara Puja, as far as I have observed. So try to stand as far back in the queue. That is what I did. Because if I stand in front, then I have to see Periyava, do Namaskaram, and then make way for somebody else. But if I stand as back, then all the people will go speak to Periyava and then go. I can be in Periyava's Sannidhi for that long. In fact, the same thing happened to me. I was standing back and people are coming and saying, hey, why can't you go front? I said, I don't want to go front. I want to stand in back and have Periyava's darshan as much as possible. And so that is something that everybody should consider. And with Periyava's busy schedule, it is my opinion that it takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of effort for Periyava to speak to everybody else. So I was like, okay, I don't even want Periyava to speak to me, because he's already so busy. And at max, I will be worried about me, my family, or the satsang that I know of, or the people that I know of. But Periyava is worrying about everybody else, right? If he worries about us, then why should we have to go and give him a obligation, give him a request letter? So I was like, okay, no, I stand in the back, look at Periyava, do Namaskara, that's it. And if something needs to be conveyed, then Periyava conveys it at the appropriate time. So I never went and asked Periyava, ennikku uttaravu tharayal. I didn't do all those things. I don't know if that would be possible for everybody else, but if it is possible, then I think people should go in that mentality, with that preparation, so that you can spend a lot of time in the mat, in Periyava Sannidhi, in Chandramauleshwara Sannidhi, because அந்த Sannidhi விசேஷம்னே ஒன்று இருக்கு. So that is something that everybody should try to do. And at any cost, please do not take any pictures of Chandramaulishwara Puja. You can take pictures of Periyava when he is alone. But when the moment Periyava goes into the Puja Kattu, the moment they remove the screens, please do not take any pictures. The Mutt people are very, very serious about it, because that is something that Periyava has time and again emphasized. No artificial light on Chandramaulishwara. Because light is not muddy. Artificial light is not muddy according to Periyava. So only natural lamps. When we take pictures, the flash comes. So don't even take your phones. And people are very serious about that thing. If you go to the Chandramaulishwara Puja Kattu, there will be big signboards that tells don't take pictures, no videos, no photos allowed in many different languages. And what hurts me is that in spite of all those things, people take their cell phone and take pictures. No, just take pictures with your own eyes. Take picture, click a picture with our heart. That is the thing that we need to do. Taking pictures with cell phone, it is not going to stay. It might be good for the cell phone, but it won't be good for ourselves. So we all have to try to take picture with our eyes and with our hearts. So never take any pictures, take any cell phones. Periyavas alone, yes, you can take pictures, and sometimes Periyava himself says, okay, go ahead. Sometimes you can take pictures when Periyava is alone, when Periyava is speaking to somebody else. I don't like to take a lot of pictures, but there were some pictures that I especially took because it looked so surreal to me. I'll just tell this one instance and I'll stop, because these are all my experiences. So I play a part in that, but I also don't want to talk more about these things. So we all went to this temple. I think the temple is called as Veerabhadreshwara temple, something. Periyava's camp, and I got Uttaravu to come along with Periyava's Savari. So I went in one of the cars. The speciality in that temple is that daily Nitya Kalyan, it is Shiva temple. And for Shiva, daily marriage happens in the evening. And whoever has got problems in getting married, they come, they do a pariharam, they do marriage for Shiva, they also get married. So that is the Aidihim. So Periyava blessed. Periyava had a visit to the temple. And there is a unique paddhati that is being followed in that temple. Is that, just like how we have Radha Kalyanam in Tamil Nadu and all, where the entire marriage happened with Bhajana Paddhati. There won't be any much mantras, but they will be singing Nama Sankirtanam and Bhajanai, and then all the marriage, everything will happen with Bhajanai. And the same way in that temple as well, that was the Aidihya. So people sing bhajans, and after bhajans, they start the thing with bhajan. So they have their own unique tune, unique way of singing different bhajans and all. So these people were waiting for Periyava's arrival, and Periyava was sitting on. So imagine it's a diagonal. So Periyava was sitting on one end of the diagonal. I was sitting on the other end of the diagonal. And fortunately, the bhajan group was sitting in the middle. So Periyava was looking at the bhajan group, but for me, it was like Periyava was looking at me, because I was in this line of sight. So for about half an hour or 45 minutes, where they were singing all the bhajans, Periyava was looking at the bhajans, not at me. But for me, it looked like Periyava was looking at me. Periyava was looking at my eyes. So the Netra Deekshai அப்படின்லாம் சொல்லுவாங்க, அந்த மாதிரி ஒரு எக்ஸ்பீரியன்ஸ் கிடைச்சது எனக்கு. I was right in Periyava's line of sight. So that was a very unique experience. I've never gotten that experience before. So I always cherish that experience that I got for that 45 minutes. So I took some photos, some videos. of Periyavas looking at me. I mean, he was not looking at me, he was looking at the people who were singing, but from where I was sitting, it looks Periyava was looking right into my eyes. So that was one very pleasant experience that I had. I think I don't want to tell more story and bore you guys. Of course, talking about Periyava is never boring. Talking about Periyava is it is my punyam and it is your punyam. My vak shuddhi and your indriya shuddhi, everything happens when we talk about Periyava, when we listen about Periyava. It is not a coincidence, I would say. It is all orchestrated by Periyava himself. So let us all thank Periyava, and I will also pray that all of us, including me, get another opportunity to visit Periyava, to have more such experiences with Periyava, because in our Sanatana Dharma, even Bhagavan is only after Guru. If Guru and Bhagavan comes in front of you, who do you do Namaskaram first? Kabir Dasa says, I will do Namaskara to Guru and then to Govinda, because it is the Guru who shows that, hey, that is the Govinda, that is Bhagavan. So Guru is placed at a higher pedestal than Bhagavan. So it is a sukritam to talk about Guru, to talk about Periyava, to talk about the illustrious Kanchi Kamakoti Peetham, to listen about that illustrious Kanchi Kamakoti Peetham, to listen about Periyava. So let us all thank Periyava, and I personally pray that all of us get more such opportunities, more individual opportunities to have Periyava's darshan, to have more and more and more, to have more and more and more of these divine experiences, so that this Janma will be fruitful for all of us. Manushya Janma is the hardest Janma to ever obtain. Unless we go and fall at the feet of a Guru, cannot escape this samsara. Tadvikti pranipadena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninaha tattvadarshinaha. Says Krishna and Bhagavad Gita. Tadvikti pranipadena pariprashnena sevaya. You have to do namaskara, you have to do seva. That is the real means of getting knowledge. Says Krishna and Bhagavad Gita. Parikshalokan karmachidan brahmano nirvedamayat tad vignartam saha gurumeva abhigachet shrotayam brahmanishtam. Says Upanishads. Tat vignartam sa gurumeva abhigachet. There is no other way. Nanyah pantha vidyate. Na anyah pantha. Anya pantha na vidyate. There is no other way for getting moksha. Says Upanishad, says Brahma Sutram, says Bhagavad Gita, says Purusha Suktam, everything says the same thing. Unless you fall at the feet of Holy Guru, moksha is not possible. Not only Advaita Matam, even Visishta Advaita, Dvaita, all the other dharmas, darshanas in our Sanatana Dharma, all of them. What is moksha? Everybody will fight against each other. But the importance of Guru, nobody will question. All the matams, they accept the importance of Guru. So let us all pray to Periyava to shower his infinite compassion, infinite blessings to all of us. And let us all pray. If we have not already done, let us all pray for Periyava's darshanam. Pray for more such experiences, so that we can be kritharthas, we can be kritagrityas, we can be, we can achieve something that is worthy of our human life. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. I have something in
Namaskaram, Mom. Namaskaram.
Context, then I offer my namaskaras to Periyava. It was not intended. If I did any abhacharam, I offer my, I pray for forgiveness from Periyava and from all of people. Thanks a lot.